rage tour.
Wow, okay, yeah.
I want to go get the $1 million.
Yeah,
Chainsaw.
Be a bonfire of,
All right.
bring your dollars, yeah. So we can rip up our money, our fiat money. I think this will be very scary for people. I started doing this a few years ago, actually on television, you know, just to show how stupid the US dollars are, just ripping up fiat money. And there's a Max Tasty in an armored truck. Some armored truck was spilling money, and of course, there was see, there's photographic evidence that that was us giving all the money away. It destroys confidence in the U.S. dollar. You want people to look at the U.S. dollar and, you know, throw up. And that's part of the reason why, you know, you rip it up. It's the devil's currency. It's something that we try to avoid as poison. You know. It's not about the money, it's about the message. And Bitcoin is a messaging app, and the message is hard money. That's another thing. So Bitcoin is hard money, but it's scaling like a messaging app, which is cool, right? So a messaging app which goes up that hyperbolic curve, it's, you know, scaling up, but it's hard money that's messaging like this messaging app. And it is a message, and the message is hard money. The hard money is a message of savings. So it has a beautiful resonance in our own minds that we are naturally more predisposed to saving and hard money than we are to fiat money. And it goes back to the DNA of our brains, of our cells. You know, throughout our entire history, it's all been about trade. And we're trading animals, and we're wandering, roaming animals, and we trade for something that has value in the future. And that's the whole concept of time, is that you're giving me something now that I can trade in the future. It's got future trade value. And that was beads, and that was shells, and then there was gold. And gold became the thing that everyone everywhere in the world said, yeah, it's valuable, I'll take gold for this beautiful handmade leather knife strap. I'll give me some gold for it. And I realized that the reason why having hard money for trade is so important is that it avoids violence. You know, when you trade and you feel ripped off, you go and you find that fucker and you punch him in the face. And it turns out, evolutionarily speaking, that the human face evolved to take a punch. That's what our scientists tell us. The human face takes a punch. That's what it's good at. And that's the result of a lot of bad deals. It's like, what? This isn't no magic trinket. So you have gold, and gold is peaceful, and hard money is peaceful. Fiat money, if you trade for fiat money, you're trading for junk, you're trading for crap, you're trading, and look at our society. It's never been more violent. Look at the global situation. That, you know, violence are everywhere. Violence is the language of our times because people are upset because their own money sucks. This I just put in today. Right here in Detroit, I was at the museum, and you know, there's an aspect of Bitcoin that is mystical and magical, and so I was at this museum talking about Afrofuturism and Afrofeminism, and how do you harness synaptic plasticity to free our minds. We'll move past the limitations of our memories. Can we reprogram our mental maps? Who is building our future? These are all great questions, and they can be done with Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin is the plastic of the future. That's how we build it. We build it with hard money, and it's very plastic. It's digital. It's part of the imagination. It's part of our collective unconscious. I'm mining Bitcoin in my unconscious right now. Oh, man, I just made another billion. I love this currency. Okay, so as was mentioned, the recent congressional testimony that Brad Sherman, you know, he says Bitcoin's purpose is to take the power away from us.
Yeah!
Right? He's all crying. Bitcoin we've seen in years. I mean, isn't that what it's about? Stack stats. Stack stats. All right, so Trump called 3 bank CEOs this week to beg them, because the market was down 5% from all-time highs. I was on Wall Street in 1987. The market dropped 22% in a day. I didn't go fucking change my diapers in the men's room and cry like a little baby, crawled up in a fetal position, begging for more credit, or James Cramer in the 2008 crisis. We need more credit! We need more money! No, took it like men. We sold everybody out and went to lunch. So this is remarkable. It's not manly, I can tell you that. Here's a good one. Thomas Jefferson talking about banks established more dangerous than standing armies. It's a well-known quote. The principle of spending money to be paid by posterity under the name of funding, swindling. It's all swindling, Our founding fathers knew all about this. They had a revolution, they created the Constitution, etc. And here we are in 2019, and a lot of the guts of the Constitution have been ripped out through lobbying and through compromise, and so it's in bad shape. So after the next collapse, which is coming, and we need to rebuild, we can take some good stuff from these guys, but put Bitcoin in there. Should be fine. Okay? Feel better? This is Mnuchin. I don't think nefarious activities excessively settle cash. That's our Treasury Secretary.
Said Epstein.
Right? So, and he was on Joe Rogan. Kernan. Joe Kernan. So Joe Kernan got turned down by Bitcoin recently. He's now a drone. And here's Mnuchin telling this story about how we don't, money never used for illicit purposes. And here's Kernan laughing his ass off. It's an important moment in Bitcoin history. We'll look back on this and say this is the day that the woke, the class got messed up. Is fiat money used nefariously? 1.3 billion cocaine costs belong to J.P. Morgan. 17 Goldman Sachs facing criminal charges, 4.5 billion laundering, 12 billion in fines. Deutsche Bank, just in the last 20 years, Deutsche Bank, 35 offenses, securities abuses, tax violations, all this stuff Deutsche Bank does. Wachovia, 160 million in money laundering, Deutsche Bank, 670 million, Bank of Australia, 700 million, billions and billions and billions of laundering money, fiat money. How much is Bitcoin involved in illicit activity? Something like less than 1%. It's all fiat money. Speaking of interesting topic on interest rates, interest rates are mentioned, negative interest rates and bond prices. How come with all these negative interest rates, how come credit card rates aren't going down?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
What the hell is up with that? Right? Because I came up with this concept of interest rate apartheid. So if you're a friend of Goldman Sachs, your cost of money is negative, under zero. But if you're living in a Bantustan called, I'm not a friend of Goldman Sachs or Jeffrey Epstein, I'm paying 18%, 19%. Or I'm on a payday lender, paying 2,000%. So we're living in, Bantustan's interest rate apartheid. The society's been divided accordingly by interest rates. So you have all these virtue signalers out there saying, oh, we got to be nice to these folks and those folks, and we need another bathroom for these folks. Just give me a cheap credit card rate and shut the fuck up!
Yeah.
Right? I don't need, all that other shit. I'm going to keep my dick. I don't need I just want a cheap rate. Am I offending anybody? If I am, I apologize. But not sincerely. Yeah, here they're paying people to take out a mortgage. So you get a house, and instead of taking out a mortgage and paying interest, you don't have any mortgage at all. They pay you the money from the bank, and you got to pay less than the principal back. So they're giving away money. It sounds good, but the value of the house, obviously, at some point is going to drop remarkably. So, right? So it's like, oh, I saved 5% of my mortgage, the house dropped 50%. It's a trick bag. It's a trick bag. It's no good. Right. This is just a point basically about how the money that's printed, it doesn't go into circulation. People use it to buy a house, a trophy chateau or a work of art or something. The value of that goes up based on all the money that's being printed. So you can use it as collateral to borrow against that. See, it's hugely beneficial on the upside, but the actual purchasing power of that money keeps going down. So unless you're buying fine art with your cash, your experience is that the cost of your living is going up, right? Your cash is not buying you stuff, right? They keep printing money, but the cost of my stuff at the grocery store, again, I'm buying less, right? My grocery bag is less and less with all this money they're printing, and that these people, the value of their Modiglianis that they're buying for 150 million keep it going up for this reason. Here's Warren Buffett. His bank, Wells Fargo, been fined 93 times. How does he get away calling us a rat? He's the rat. And Bitcoin is the rat poison. No, Buffett is, he's a scoundrel. Wells Fargo is, they were stealing people's money out of their accounts, opening fake accounts and just stealing money. Hundreds of thousands of times. And Charlie Munger's like, well, well, thanks, Charlie. That was really well said. This is when I turned on Trump. I was a supporter up until this tweet.
I'm not a fan.
He's not a fan of Bitcoin, so he's going to have to go.
Gotta go.
He's out. Yang gang. That's right. Trump, this is where he messed up. This is where he blew his presidency. Don't support Bitcoin? Nope. You're out. You're out. Out. Oh, I wrote this in 2013. Black America 100% Bitcoin. Go back. Damn it. Can't go backwards.
There you go.
There we go. They want 100% Bitcoin. They can control the U.S. economy within 10 years. Whitey is too fucking stupid to get it. This is our time.
Say it.
Now this book has come out, Bitcoin and Black America. It's an excellent book. That quote, by the way, happens to be on page 11. I've said since 2011, that Bitcoin is, for the black community, is fucking awesome. Because it's a way to re-enfranchise, it's a way to have unconfiscatable wealth. Right? Because it's never going to get better. Right? Slave days, Jim Crow, the prison-industrial complex, to whatever fucking racist bullshit they pull this year. Never going to get better. So, Bitcoin is wealth, it's unconfiscatable, and the value, it stays valuable. You got something. What happened in the 2008 crisis? The banks, it was the biggest wealth transfer out of the black community in decades. Because of all the predatory lending that went on. It's targeted black community, just like targeted black community in the prison, industrial complex. That's fucked up, obviously.
Thanks, Clinton.
So, it is what it is, and that's what it is. Here's another congressional testimony saying that basically Bitcoin, there's no capacity to kill Bitcoin. This is Congress of the United States saying, we can't stop it. It's unstoppable. The other guy saying, it's taking away our power. Okay, well, sign me up. Like, okay, I get it. I get it. And all y'all can get it. Stack sats every day. Couple of bucks there, couple of bucks there. Next thing you know, you got some wealth. Then you're like, I know a lot of other people with a bunch of wealth, and guess what? We make the laws now. That's the way it works. He who has the Bitcoin makes the laws. Government? No, nobody. This is an interesting phrase. Bitcoin's not making it easy, but making things hard. That's a philosophical thing. You know, the hash rate is hard. You know, that's what hard money is all about. It's proof of work, and the work is hard work. This is one of my quotes here. Bitcoin is the top because fiat with negative rates has no bottom. Right? The value of fiat can only go down. And it has no bottom. Purchasing power of the British pound, the longest running fiat currency of 300 years, has declined 99.5%. Every other fiat currency has gone extinct. The average lifespan of the paper money is 27 years. Every paper money's gone to zero. Where I think I have some in my pocket. Here it is, look! Look at this shit! Okay, I want everyone to pull one of these out of their pocket right now. We're going to do something very cathartic. Let's go. Do it. Get your fucking shit money out right now. Listen, and I will sign these at the end of the show, and you'll immediately make whatever shit money you have in your pocket go up in value on eBay. I'm gonna make you all money right now by getting rid of this fucking bullshit fiat shithole. Who needs a dollar? Who's not half a dollar? I don't have There you go. Who needs a dollar? Who needs a dollar? Who needs a dollar? Need one for demonstration purposes. I'm stuck. No. I can't get out. Whoa. What's this? Somebody dropped 25 cents. I'll keep this because it's metal. I'll eat the that. All right, ready? On 3. Rip it up. Fuck! Genie! Diamond! There you go. Rip it up. There you go.
We're breaking the rules right now.
Hey, you're breaking the law. People are like, what? I could have bought a fucking Tootsie Roll with that. Holy shit. I could have got a split. No, man. We're moving on. We're burning all of this is 100. Holy shit. We're burning all the bridges. All right, what else? We're gonna keep going. Come on, roll. Here we go. Oh, here, Voltaire. Paper money always goes to its intrinsic value, 0. Right? That's hundreds of years ago. It's no secret. I'm not talking out of school. Oh man, where's the clicker? Damn it. Oh, here's something about the regulators who are going to come after Bitcoin. They're all paid in fiat. So as the value of fiat collapses, they won't have anything to pay them with to come after us. So unless they get paid in Bitcoin, they're going to go out of business anyway. So we get nothing to fear from them. La 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 me up. The largest peaceful protest, and I fully believe this is true, against authoritarian governments, financial surveillance, quantitative easing, elimination of cash, deficit spending, central banks, trade wars, inflation, and war. Time to plan Bitcoin. Here's a bunch of slides about how the global economy is imploding. Brace. Debt level, 320% debt to GDP globally. So these numbers will not date by a day or so. Negative interest rates, collapsing. More negative interest rates. We talked about everything going to a bubble. It broke the system. Negative interest rates. I put a lot of these in here just talking about how messed up the various banking situation is. Just like a slide. This is like a nature show for disaster porn. It's like watching tigers rip into, little snakes or whatever. Here's a snapshot of how the world blew up. We arrived on planet Earth in the year 2020. This is all we found. A bunch of sharks from a madman ripping up fiat money. Apparently, the entire globe went heavily into debt with negative interest rates, and then they all savagely beat each other to death. A few people still have Bitcoin. They now rule the planet. Biggest bond bubble in 3,000 years. Here's a slide from Stacey Herbert. Is this the parable?
Yeah! I was drinking, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, does anyone need me to unblock them on Twitter? Scalable passive resistance. Everyone can be passively resistant. With Bitcoin, you're taking yourself out of the banking system, which is the most violent system. Fiat money is the root of violence in so many different ways. And hard money is the opposite of violence. And so I think this is, we've had messengers who have tried to bring us to this point of higher consciousness, and so now we're at that point again. Satoshi Nakamoto is in this league. It comes down to individual sovereignty. So you're in your own country, and you're at peace with every other country. There, that's your foreign policy. I am the country of me, and my foreign policy is I'm at peace. Thank you, and goodbye. That's my foreign policy, and I've got all my sovereignty lined up in unconfiscatable hard money, and I've got a boatload of it, and everyone's going to fuck themselves. I'm going to be in my island of prosperity, and you're welcome to visit me or not. I don't give a shit. But I don't need, all the third-party verification. I don't need Congress. I don't need the president. I don't need the WTO. I don't need the World Trade Organization. I don't need the World Bank. I don't need all that. I don't need it. Don't want it. Don't need it. I'm individually sovereign. Never before possible. Talked about, speculated about, philosophized about, but never ever possible until Bitcoin. It's actually the first time that has been possible on a scalable business level all throughout anywhere we can get on. You can only hear you. So Deutsche Bank, as they alluded to, is probably going to be the next Lehman Brothers. They're completely bankrupt. They're going to go out of business. And one of the solutions a week ago was to create a bad bank. And obviously, how they create a bad bank when they're already a bad bank. It's a world of infinite regrets. Fiat money refers to other fiat money. The yen refers to the pound, refers to the dollar, refers to other fiat money. There's no hard money in the equation anywhere. It's just one snake eating its own tail. And shut up. Who's on God? Throw that man. I'm only joking. Jesus, I'm not going to block him right here live. I'm in person, but I can't do it. Venezuela doesn't have enough money to print more money. That's how messed up it is in Venezuela. They don't have enough money to print more money.
Yeah. How many bolivars for a Bitcoin now?
Too many zeros. More money printing stuff. Every fiat money since the Roman has gone out of business, collapsed. 152 fiat currencies have failed in hyperinflation, 24 years the average lifespan. So this paper money, now this is the guaranteed fate of the US dollar is every single paper money always goes to zero. Guaranteed, so here's the Weimar Republic, wallpapering their house with money. Venezuela, the streets are littered. Look, we've got little Venezuela right here. Right? Am I right? What's the difference? Really? At this point, very little when it comes to the money. At one point you could say that there was a difference.
Peanut gallery, calm down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, like, they're hiding behind this post. You're hiding behind the post, and I couldn't see you. And you're loud, and I had to come over there and spank you. Like, give you $1. And it will cost you $50. In Bitcoin. Dude, where's this chatter coming from? Oh, you!
Hey, what's up?
I apologize to you. And you with the Bitcoin shirt,
Yeah.
separate! You need to separate because you're too chatty, okay? After the show. Jesus, I'm gonna call your mom.
Sorry, Max. No disrespect.
Yeah, bullshit. All right, what else? All right, here's a gold mark in German Weimar. Here's the price of gold. Look, a million. Or a trillion, excuse me, a trillion. From 1 to 1 to a trillion to 1. So that's where gold is going now. Here's Paul Krugman from the New York Times. Fiat currency is of underlying value because men with guns say they did. Right? What did I say? Fiat money is violence. He's saying that fiat money has no value without the violence. That's the New York Times. He's the Nobel Prize-winning economist. When it said, what's the intrinsic value? What's the real value? Nothing, but we have guns. Okay. What about when we can't, like in the Roman Empire, buy the guns anymore? With 150 military bases, we can't feed the gas. The biggest buyer of gas every day is the U.S. military. $250 million worth of gas every day to fill America's tanks and jets and all that other shit. So let's say gas goes to, if the dollar collapses, gas goes to $30 a gallon. Now all that hardware sitting out in the desert can't do shit. And this idiot's hiding under his desk, wishing he had bought Bitcoin. Don't be like Paul Krugman. Here he is again. He said in 2000, he said during the dot-com era, by 2005 it will become clear that the internet's impact on the economy is no greater than the fax machine. This is 1998. Okay, he's the lead economist for the intelligentsia of America. Look to this guy. Bitcoin is peace and harmony. Now we get down the rabbit hole, peace and harmony. Are you ready? The Tao of Bitcoin. Bitcoin follows its own path. It doesn't care about your desires. It can neither be controlled or understood. It's easier to work within the rules than to try to change them. Okay? Do you feel me?
Yeah.
Let it work its way into your consciousness. Don't fight it. The protocol knows best. It's a bank of nowhere. Just is. 69 quintillion, that's the latest hash rate. It's estimated that there are 7 quintillion grains of sand on planet Earth. The Bitcoin hashes per second are 10 times the number of grains of sand on the Earth. Okay, that's your security. That's your security. That's 27 zeros. I'm looking at you, that's right. I don't know why. Oh, look. Yeah, that's a lot of zeros. That's 5 quintillion. Oh yeah, where's the quintillion? Here's a quintillion. Here. Not 80 of those are secondary. And the country should attack it. Go ahead and attack it. Attack it. Hash to your delight. Try to co-opt it. You know, control it. This is so beautiful, man. If you want to just like smoke a doobie and check this out, this is what you do. This is the protocol searching for nonces. Right? You know what I'm saying, right? This is the face of God. Maybe not, but sounds good, right? Yeah, they're chasing the nonce. And the nonce gets into more negative territory. Now, apparently it's not illegal. The Uber underwriters, they mispriced the deal, and there wasn't much demand for it. The price was sinking, so they just printed up a bunch of stock right there on the spur of the moment and engaged in this massive naked shirt selling scam, and were able to wiggle their way out of it and make a few bucks. But it's massively fraudulent activity. It used to be illegal. So was buying back stock in your own company. That used to be illegal for obvious reasons. It promotes executives to commit massive accounting fraud. Why is Apple's earnings haven't improved in 10 years, but the stock goes up because they buy back their own stock, so it looks like the earnings are going up, even though the earnings have not gone up. That's accounting fraud. It used to be illegal. So Apple also, after 9/11, bought back, repriced their options to take advantage of the depressed price, thanks Steve Jobs, committed massive fraud. It's illegal, but they did it anyway. Wells Fargo Bank, 100 million. Hey, so it's been a low, we talked about it. Royal Bank of Scotland, they just destroy customers to sell the parts to other subsidiaries for a profit. Tens of thousands of businesses. The Boeing 737 MAX. While they were paying $9 an hour, outsourcing engineering and creating airplanes that were going to fall out of the sky, the company would spend $20 billion to buy back their own stock, so that the earnings look like they're higher. It makes the options for the executives go up, and they're cashing in billions and paying dividends to themselves, and like outsourcing, like on Fiverr. You know? Okay, that's financial terrorism. I mean, people are dying, they're falling out of the sky, planes are crashing, right? Oh wait, it's capitalism. That's right. Oh, it's the religion of capitalism, and that's permissible under the religion of capitalism in America. So it must be okay. I'm sorry, I got that. Here, the Lloyd's mis-selling scandal. Sales of insurance policies earned around double the points of investments. The pressure was so great that in one case, an advisor sold insurance to himself, his wife, and a colleague to meet the target. So here you have people working out the insurance, selling insurance to themselves, just to get the bonus. Total insane. Monetizing poor people. Here's Timothy Keiser when he left the job of Treasury Secretary, I guess he was. He went into the business of sending people unsolicited checks in the mail that the second they cashed it, they became indebted to a predatory lender. And then they had a subsidiary of a law firm that started making phone calls, where's our money? Tim Keiser. And they refer to it in the Wall Street Journal as monetizing poor people. But yeah, fuck yeah, monetizing poor people. But what isn't in the economy an active monetization of poor people? Very little. Fiat money is monetizing poor people. The US dollar is monetization of poor people. If you rely on fiat money for your life, you're in bad shape. Because it's always becoming more and more worthless. And it only feeds violence. And it's a very, very sick situation. Anyway, there's Tim Keiser, who's lauded on Time Magazine as some genius, but he's out there slinging debt on the corner like some freaking payday lender, drug dealing. That's a deplorable. There's your deplorables right there. Here's a Ken Griffin, hedge fund manager, just bought a house for $238 million. And guess who'll be hired to be working for him at Citadel, his hedge fund? Oh, there's Ben Bernanke, former chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank. So here's a guy who said he could start raising interest rates in 15 minutes if he needed to normalize them once the crisis of 2008 was over. No, they've only gone down. Now we're in negative rates. And this guy's left town. He's advising that guy who just bought this for $238 million because this guy printed trillions. Fucking terrorism. Terrorism, terrorism, terrorism. I don't see how any other word that can describe it more accurately. Financial terrorism. Oh boy, this slide means I've been talking a long time. Well, I'll do a few questions and then we'll see how we do on time. This is more random stuff. What do you think? A double backflip dismount? Yes. I can. Because I have Obamacare. Yes?
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed your presentation. Sir, when you got the present dollar, which was created basically in 1931, went off the gold standard. Right now, as the dollar will crash, it's like I'm saying, would it be possible to use the IMF special drawing rights that use the basket of currency, gold, and the Bitcoin as a transition to the new system?
All right, interesting question. So, you have all these bank bailouts, and you have central banks in 2008 came to the rescue of all these big bulge bracket banks, and they printed trillions of dollars. And they took all that debt and they put it on their balance sheet. So Federal Reserve Bank is now leveraged 50 to 1, 60 to 1. And all these other big banks, ECB, Bank of Japan, they got on their balance sheet all where all the garbage is. So you give them garbage, and they give you a fresh, clean one of these. Right? So we took all of our subprime mortgages, we bankrupted all the communities, and now we've got this on our books. We've got $400 billion worth of shit mortgages. We'll give them to you, central bank, and you give us fresh money, you hold it. Okay, so what's happened in the last 10 years, all that bad shit on their balance sheet, like Jeffrey Epstein's corpse, is just rotting. And worms are crawling around. And it's formaldehyde is swirled up a bit. And it stinks. So the question is, who bails out the bank that bailed out the banks? And the answer people come up with is, well, the International Monetary Fund has the special drawing right. This is their currency, their fiat money, their nonsensical paper, fractional reserve horseshit. And they're going to create a $100 trillion lending facility to lend to all the world's central banks. So all the junk that was on the central bank's balance sheet goes to the IMF in exchange for new IMF dollars or special drawing rate dollars. So that's the plan. And we know, for example, Jim Rickards, who's been on my show a few times, written a lot of books, a lot of you know his work. He believes that was a likely plan. But now we're at the point where we've got two things. We've got a fork in the road, literally. We have now Russia and China saying, you know what, we're going to come up with gold-backed currency. And the reason people thought that China would never do this is because of the symbiotic relationship between China and America. So America sends China their jobs, and China sends back cheap stuff at Walmart. So even though people lose their jobs in America, the price of stuff at Walmart's been going down. So your quality of life is not noticeably deteriorating because that flat screen TV is $200. And you're like, it's awesome, right? The clothes on your back are in Vietnam, you know, they're like $5 also. So I got, and my, you know, I've got credit still. They're lending me a bunch of money, so I got a car, I got a flat screen TV, and I'm buying calories from, you know, fast food joints. I buy the thousands of calories for $1. So you're not noticing the fact that you're being soft killed by this swap of a job for cheap shit. So they said, well, China and America are never going to let this relationship collapse because everyone's just getting rich off this. But now, you know, since Trump came into office, he's introduced this period of de-globalization, de-dollarization. And China now is gonna, like, around a Cold War. I mean, I think you can say right now, America and China are in a Cold War. That's not a trade war anymore. It's not a currency anymore. It's a Cold War. Like, they're on a war footing. They're sending battleships around, and they're talking war rhetoric. And then when you start talking on war rhetoric, all the logic goes out the window. It's like, all right, so what? We're gonna, 200 million people, how many did we kill in the Cultural Revolution? We don't give a shit. We're fucking China. So, I think it's going to break apart. It's going to break apart. So the SDR, that is never going to have that conversation because it's going to be a war going on. They're going to be buying gold because they're already buying gold. Then there's going to be millions of people around the world who are like, holy shit, another fucking war? Max was right, I'm buying Bitcoin! Da, 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 da. No, did I answer the question? What if even was the question?
So I guess as shitty as the Federal Reserve is in terms of money, there is, I guess, in the economy ideology, there is a benefit to having inflationary rates. So it gives, I guess, us as a people the incentive to go and participate in the economy, go and spend money. Now, with Bitcoin being a deflationary asset, I guess having rates, is there any statistics with a lot of different countries that are experiencing a lot of hyperinflation, like Venezuela and a lot of Southeastern countries? Is there any statistics around whether they are now spending with Bitcoin as much as they would have with a regular fiat currency? Because with the idea of Bitcoin, everyone's like, all right, let's hodl, let's just hold on to Bitcoin because it's going to increase in value. So
okay, I get the question. All right, so the question is basically like, okay, fiat money system, it still promotes the consumer economy, and the consumer economy is 70% of the economy, and although it's inflating by the Federal Reserve and policymakers say by 2% a year, okay, that just means I'm losing my purchasing power in the rule of 72, right? So it means in 35 years my purchasing power is cut in half. So I'm losing my purchasing power, but I'm going to accept that because it's lubricating the economy, because the banks in their fractionally reserved wisdom are lending to businesses, those businesses are hiring people, those people are getting jobs, those people are then generating income, and those people are creating the thing called the economy. Now, the thing about it is that I think the problem is that, like many theories and many things, when it comes to practice, the folks in charge of putting these things into place do a really bad job implementing these policies and implementing those policies. For example, we know that they want to have an inflation rate of about 2%. Now, we also know that how many people would characterize their healthcare costs and education costs and annualizing at a rate of 2%? Raise your hand. Zero. Right? Healthcare costs are up 30, 40, 50%. Education costs, obviously, through the roof. So how does that work? I mean, but wait, these prices are going up. It's because the government doesn't include those prices when they calculate inflation. They only can calculate inflation based on things that they know the prices are like going down. Like they will include a flat screen TV or clothes from Vietnam, and they'll say, you see, prices are not going up. So they defraud. They use the numbers to support this idea, but it's false. They know that we can't trust them. So you end up with a question of trust. Can you trust the folks that are supposed to be implementing and setting policy to do this correctly? And if we're at a stage where we can say we don't trust them because they're not doing it, they're either lying or they're engaged in massive fraud, et cetera, et cetera. So we are at the fallback position is to say, well, with Bitcoin, of course we know that it's all about don't trust, verify, right? You're taking trust out of the equation. You're eliminating trust. It's not about trust anymore. It's all completely verified, visible, transparent on the blockchain. And as you rightly point out, there is the issue of having a currency that is now deflating in value. So now, how does deflation factor into the economy? And I think that it would work well with a deflating currency. Think about it, is that innovation usually comes from, the price of things come down through having limited resources and having to innovate. So it spurs innovation. Because in other words, the banks are financial engineers, they are a huge part of the economy, and they don't necessarily innovate because they get all that fiat money poured on them, and they just steal all the money. And they crowd out the real innovators. They crowd out the small mom and pop, the guys that tinker in the garages, because those folks are not getting access to the market because they're being crowded out by the fiat money crowd. You want those people to be constrained. Like the thing on the board, it's not about being easy, it's about being hard. You want constraints. You want to be limited. You want to say, I've got to innovate. I've got to come up with a better way a better mousetrap. And I've got to apply my brain power. That's the way the economy tends to. Innovation is the way you get better prices and better stuff, better goods. When you have fiat money, you have the innovation kind of goes out of the way. The innovation actually goes to China. When you move all the jobs from Detroit to China, and all the people that are in Detroit innovating on the factory floor, they're not there either. They're in China. So China now is leading 5G with Huawei and the next generation telecom. They're considered the innovative masters now because they got the jobs. They got people on the factory floor actually innovating. Not in the U.S. We lost the innovation. So there is that factor to it. But then it's a different way to think about it. Like, do you want your savings to be to maintain their purchasing power going forward, so that this is why under the gold standard you had 100 years of relative peace and trade that was working. When we got off the gold standard, a lot of that fell apart. And it's a constraint. So can you live with constraints? And yet the answer is that as human beings, we are never going to be at a place where we're not constrained in some way. That's life. Does that make sense? I mean, it's a question that comes up. Mostly on mainstream TV, they say, how do you have a deflationary currency? The purchasing power of your money keeps going up. There's not a lot of money, there's not a lot of fiat money around. So you've got to innovate. But look at Detroit. I mean, they were forced to innovate. They were forced to innovate. No amount of fiat money was going to make this change. The people had to innovate. People had to innovate. Is that correct? Yeah. So put that on a global scale and say, we're not going to print money yet. We're not going to print all this money. We're going to have a hard money. Now you're going to have to talk to your neighbor. Now you're going to have to innovate. And yeah, next question. Yes.
Sort of riding off the same thing though, couldn't you say throughout history we've had deflationary currencies because things were backed by gold, which is deflationary currency, and you had the largest disparity between the haves and have-nots ever. It's actually gone down as you've gone into an inflationary currency model. So you could almost argue that we've already seen what a deflationary only currency system would be versus, and now we're starting to see the effects of a purely inflationary currency.
Right, okay, so we're talking about gold. The inflationary gold is known, it's around what, 2.5%, 3%. That's the stock to flow. That's the amount of gold coming out of the ground versus the amount of gold above ground. So it has that natural rate, and it's backed by work. I gotta go mine gold. It's expensive to mine gold. It's $1,450 an ounce, and I can mine it maybe for $1,000 an ounce, $1,200 an ounce. And I gotta pay people. I got more energy costs. It's proof of work. Gold is proof of work. I work for my gold. Here's my gold. This is what it's for, and it's got value, and it's inflating at roughly 2-3% a year. Right now, the rate of Bitcoin through the mining rewards every 10 minutes is also roughly, I think, 3% a year. In the halving that happens next year, when the mining reward gets cut in half, Bitcoin will now have a stock to flow ratio less than gold. Less than gold. That'll be a big moment in the history of Bitcoin, because now you have hard money and inflating at an even less rate than the gold money, so you go through that. Which is also another answer to your question, sir, is that it actually is inflating by the mining reward. So there's a transition period, where you have this transition going on. So you see what I'm saying? So you have that, the gold, yeah, you have gold, it is inflating, Bitcoin is like gold, but it's set, proof of work. Whereas fiat money, the amount can be, look at the floor here. Nobody hesitated. It's like, print more. That's bullshit. It's going
not
up.
an argument for inflation, it's an argument for, we've seen what a deflationary currency throughout history, like I said, it's more about the disparity, how do we sort of fix the disparity.
Okay, so then you get into the fact that gold is hoarded, right? And then you have income, you have disparity with gold hoarding. With gold hoarding, you can understand why it's easier to hoard gold, because you get a bunch of guys with guns again. When you go in the 30s in America, they took everyone's gold. Gold was confiscated. It was illegal to own gold up until the 70s. And because it's physical, I can go get it and I can go put it in Fort Knox. That's where Fort Knox came from. All the money, all the gold that was confiscated was put in a new facility called Fort Knox. So, but with Bitcoin, it's unconfiscatable. So I've got my passphrase, 12-word passphrase, I've got it memorized, and you can't get it. That's it. You can't come and get it. I mean, you can come and coerce me in some way or whatever, but it's a different ballgame. If you've got 1 million people with, they've got their coins in their mind wallet, what are you gonna do? You're out of luck. That's why it's a paradigm shift. That's why it's a game changer. That's why it's a different era. You can compare it to gold in a lot of ways, but it's very different. It's radically different than fiat money. And okay, but so like it's similar but different in that way. So I think that the hoarding issue will be better. We'll have a better outcome than we have had with gold or money and other subsidies, in my view. Okay? Yes, sir.
Other than the obvious transactions per second, what do you see as the major technical hurdles for crypto in asset management?
The technical hurdles, it's not a technical hurdle. The mass adoption comes as bank failure, like was pointed out earlier, when Cyprus confiscated money, price up to 1,000, because there's demand. People are going to be buying Bitcoin because they're driven by fear more than greed. Bitcoin is driven by fear more than greed. People buy because they realize they're about to get their shit stolen. And it's gonna, that's why people are buying it. I mean, it's great to talk about all the beautiful technology and all the mathematics and all the history, but the fact is, it's like, I've only got $10,000 in my name, I'm about to get it all confiscated. If I don't buy Bitcoin, I'm gonna be fucking homeless. That's your motivating factor. It's gonna happen, so I don't give a shit if anyone wants to use the interface or not. Like, oh, I need better colors on the user interface. It's not a good experience. How about a gun to your head? How does that feel? Well, I think I'll deal with it. I can deal with that. All right, one more question. One more question because I feel myself fading.
You had a question here in the front.
Sir. Okay. Oh.
Question for you. Okay, so the bond market is imploding. It
Yeah.
seems like every day they're setting new highs and there's negative yielding debt. But yet institutions out of tradition continue to buy them. In your opinion, how much longer will they be buying failing instruments that will never be repaid? And what's the likelihood that the U.S. might try to issue a 100-year bond like Argentina?
Okay, well, so first of all, they're definitely going to yield to do 1,500-year bonds. Guaranteed, I'd say that's guaranteed. Number two, negative rates are coming to America. In Switzerland, they're already charging their high net worth individuals 3/4 of 1% to store cash at the bank. So if you put $500,000 into UBS in Switzerland, they charge you almost 1% just to store your money at the bank. So now gold, which by the way Warren Buffett says sucks because it doesn't pay an interest, if it pays 0, it's higher than what you get at UBS. Right? As far as how much more of the negative interest rates and bond bubble can we do and who's buying these bonds, a lot of institutions like pension funds by law have to buy government paper no matter what the price. And that's the market that they sell into. They know that there are statutory laws in place that say that the auto union or some other union or some other institution by law has to buy a certain percentage of the portfolio in government bonds, doesn't matter if they're negative yielding or not. The pension funds have always been a toxic waste dump for risk. I know from working on Wall Street, anytime the firm, and I've worked for several firms, you've got some toxic crap, you've got a losing trade, you can always call a pension fund and bury it in that fund. It's easy. Easy. You know, look at the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Quick side note, a lot of the wealth, quote unquote, that he generated was through initial public offerings. This is another huge slush fund on Wall Street where they underprice deals. You get that first day pop of 20-30%. You take that stock and you put it in accounts that you are highly politicalized, political favor. And it's currency as well. It's currency as well. But there's dozens of ways to do it. You know, I can spend a whole day just talking about the ways Wall Street commit fraud every single minute or every single day. But so that's the thing. They have to buy it. And then it'll end, I believe, when you see a gold-backed currency and there's a huge disjointment in market where you just have like, $3 trillion like boom goes into the new ruble, China, gold-backed coin. It's like, wow, that's what we're doing. That's what deglobalization is all about. We're deglobalizing. We're de-dollarizing. We're just no longer post World War II monetarization. The neoliberalism is finished. The neoliberal doctrine, the Washington Consensus, all that's dead. Trump killed it. Which he had to do. He had to do it. And if he was on board with Bitcoin, he'd win again. Right? He'd win. All right, one more? One more? I can understand.
This gentleman in front.
One more?
Yeah.
Run? Go.
So, Gresham's law on the floor here, we can prove that, right?
Right.
And we know that stock to flow is really awesome with gold.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin is king of stock to flow.
Right.
Nothing's better. So, Stacy was talking about, people putting Bitcoin in circulation. And I'm pretty sure that, I'm not going to put any of my Bitcoin in circulation until I don't have any more of this. So we talk about, the gold price is always a function of at what point people are willing to disorder. Okay?
Yep.
So how do you see the price of Bitcoin? Is it going to go like plateau and plateau, or is it going to go a long time before people choose to use and have a network effect of using the Bitcoin? At what price? And I'm going to ask in US dollars because we only can conceive of things in this country.
We forgive you, brother. Heal! Yes, an excellent question. Yes. Well, the good news is you're absolutely right. There is a price where people are going to disorder. You're going to start to need to spend your Bitcoin because Fiat will be going out of business. There won't be any Fiat. We won't want to use Fiat. So it becomes more a medium of exchange. So Bitcoin had a life from being a collectible to a store of value to medium of exchange, and then it will be a unit of account. It's a life of money. So we're at the store of value stage at this point. People are hoarding it because it's storing my value. At some point, they'll be like, oh man, for example, New Zealand, you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin in New Zealand.
Okay, Ohio, too.
Okay, Ohio. You have Wyoming is doing all kinds of stuff. So on the margins now, we see where you would say, okay, I'll pay my taxes. You'll start to disorder because you feel that the price you're willing to make, you will say, I pay my taxes because I think the price is not, it's worth it relative to the ultimate price appreciation. So what price will this happen? Since 2011, I've always said $100,000 per coin is when you start to see the transition from store value to medium of exchange. So current price of 10,000, you're talking about another 10x from here, which is still a damn good rate of return against anything else you might be contemplating. But if you are thinking about buying this as a speculation, the best way to do it is just stack sats every day, right? Don't try to go out there and say, oh, fuck, I'm going to put everything on Bitcoin, and then it's down 20% the next day, and then you're like, where's Max? And where's this fucking Just stack sats every day. There's one thing I'm going to leave you with, is to stack sats every day. No matter what, stack sats. They got you naked at a strip bar at 3 a.m., stack sats. Doesn't matter.